Hello and welcome to CTV Sports for our first show of the year. I'm Steven Starcer.
And I'm Keith Albertson. Our top story today comes from Mile High Stadium, where the Rams and the Buffaloes squared off in their first football game of the season. Huge rivalry for the Rams, and it would have been great, but unfortunately they dug themselves into a hole early with poor defense. CU receiver Paul Richardson went deep, but he is wide open. Nobody followed him. That's really not what you're supposed to do on defense, CSU. Connor Wood took advantage with that 82-yard touchdown pass. Now we go to the third quarter with the Rams down 10. 3-and-out forced this punt from CU, and sophomore returner Joe Hansley was ready. He found the opening and moved past a few defenders and was gone. 6 points, 74 yards, beautiful. But special teams issues continued for the Buffs. Later in the quarter, Thomas Kaufman was fielding a kickoff after a field goal from CU, and he returns this to the CU 16-yard line. Set us up great for a nice touchdown. Capri Bibbs rushed it in for his second touchdown of the game. That put the Rams up 24-23. Unfortunately for the rest of the game, it was all Buffaloes. Garrett Grayson dumped a short pass to Bibbs in the fourth quarter, but the ball was punched free. Here we see CU's Greg Henderson grabbing the ball and picking it up, and then he just runs it in for the scoop and score. 6 points for CU. Luckily, a CSU field goal kept the Rams in it, but the first play of CU's next drive put the game out of reach. Wood connected here with Richardson again, this time for a 75-yard touchdown. First-year coach Mike McIntyre and the Buffs reclaim the Centennial Trophy as the Rams fall 41-27. Pretty disappointing loss, Steven. I got to say, I wasn't really expecting us to lose that badly to the Buffs or even at all. But what are the positives that we can take away from this?
Well, one big positive, Keith, from this game was the special teams play by the Rams. Taking a look at freshman punter Hayden Hunt, averaged almost 50 yards per punt attempt for the Rams, had a long of 60 in the game, pinned the Buffaloes inside their 20-yard line one time, did a great job for a true freshman. Also like the field goal kicking out of Jared Roberts. The sophomore hit both field goal attempts that he had, so you got to like that aspect for the Rams.
Definitely helps out a lot, especially, the punting aspect, taking over for Pete Kondodiakis, the senior who graduated for the Rams. He was starting on this team for 4 years. This is the first new punter we've seen since then, and he came in and did a great job pinning the Buffs inside the 20. All around great special teams, especially those two
even
returners.
The returners, as you saw in that video, Joe Hansley did a great job on the punt return, getting the fans involved in the game, bringing some excitement for the CSU side. Thomas Kaufman also had the great kickoff return, which set up the run by Bibbs to give the Rams their actually first lead of the game before CU pulled away. So special teams did a great job. Also want to talk a little bit about Garrett Grayson. I thought he could have made a few better decisions. There's the one play where he took the sack, big loss of yardage. Thought he could have thrown the ball away to save some field position for the Rams. Couple other decisions here and there. I don't know what your thoughts were about Grayson in this one.
Yeah, I was pretty pleased. I think McElwain made the right decision by naming him the starter. He could have used a little bit more help from his wide receiving core. I just felt like there were way too many dropped balls. Grayson would hit the receivers in the hands, but they'd be dropping them all over the place. Especially from our tight ends. I expected to see a huge presence from our tight ends. Crockett Gilmore was one of our leading receivers last year for the Rams, yes. And he didn't come out that much in the game, and I was shocked by that.
And Coach McElwain touched on that in the post-game press conference. He gave CU credit for doing their studying during the summer months, getting ready for this game, knowing that the Rams wanted to go to their tight ends as a safety net for Grayson to help him out in this game. And CU covered them pretty well in this match, so give the Buffaloes credit. They executed their game plan a little bit better than CSU did in this one.
Yep, definitely. I did also expect to see more out of our rushers. Donnell Alexander and Chris Nwoke, I expected them to come out strong. Alexander had the early injury and didn't return in the second half. But it was nice. It gave Bibbs a chance, our third-string running back, to step up. And, there was that fumble that really cost us a lot. But he had those 2 great touchdowns, and he just looked explosive the entire game.
Yeah, without a doubt. Coming up after the break, CT Volleyball analyst Haleigh Hamblin will tell us what to expect from the upcoming season. Don't go away.
Colorado State University is committed to expanding access to education. Today, that includes online learning. CSU brings faculty and programs to students around the state and around the world. with flexibility to earn a degree online from a world-class university, and the ability to balance education with work and family. Learn more at succeedwithcsu.org.
Packers,
Vikings,
Red State, Blue State.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
But when we live united, we create real lasting change in the education, income, and health of our country. Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Sign up at liveunited.org.
And welcome back. We're now joined alongside CTV volleyball analyst Haleigh Hamblin. Haleigh, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks guys. Coming into this season, we all anticipated to be a year for rebuilding for the Rams. Losing 4 starters and 3 All-Mountain West players at the end of last season, it was expected for CSU to be just average. Despite the doubt placed on the CSU women's volleyball team, the Rams came out this weekend and surprised fans with their first 2 sweeps of the season. In Friday's game against Baylor, the Rams totaled 53 kills and a hitting percentage of .529. In the first game of the 2013 season, the Rams surpassed all hitting percentages from 2012. The Rams concluded their weekend with Cal Poly, who seemed to pose a bigger fight for CSU. In set 2 of the game, CSU struggled to finish the ball against the Mustangs. Failing to angle their blocks back into the court, the Rams dug themselves in a hole tied at 22-22 in set 2. Just showing their drive to win, CSU answered with 2 aces off the hands of junior Kelsey Snyder. Only 2 games into the season, CSU moved from 39th to 31st ranked in the nation. Now 50 points into the preseason poll, our Rams are now a team to be considered for the Mountain West title. Up next, the Rams will look to take on Northern Colorado on Tuesday. The game is set to start at 7 p.m. where the Rams will look for their toughest competition yet of the season.
Yeah, make sure you guys go out there and support the Rams in that game. Always fun to go out there and watch a volleyball game at Moberly Arena. Haleigh, first question. The team chemistry so far for the Rams has been awesome. I mean, they're looking like they're in mid-season form right now, and they only have 2 games under their belt. What do you attribute that to?
I attribute that first and foremost to Tom Hilbert, their head coach. He came into this season knowing that it was going to be an underdog year, knowing that most teams you were going to think to them, as an inexperienced team, which they are, but they have coped with that really well. They've come to this season, being as competitive they have been ever before. They're clicking together, they're fighting for positions, and they're really working hard. Also for Hilbert, we have Deidre Foss, the setter for the team. She was all Mountain West last year, and she's really come into this season, knowing who can get the ball down, as well as really, being a dominant server for this team.
So you mentioned a lot about the doubt coming into the season with how well are the Rams going to do, graduating all the seniors. And now that we've got 2 games under our belt, how would you say that we're shaping up to make the tournament?
It's still pretty far for the tournament now, but, coming off this season right now at 2-0, the Rams are looking very good. We don't have teams like last year. We don't have UCLA. We don't have Nebraska. We got pretty strong conference games coming in this year and, a couple of teams that, are new to CSU. But, our offense right now is stronger than I've seen last year. Our defense is there to pick up the blocks. We're really on our way to improve. From the way that I'm seeing it right now, we got a strong chance to make the Mountain West tournament, or to win the Mountain West tournament, to defeat San Diego State and really, make our name known back then again this year.
And I'm glad you brought up the point about the defense. The defense looked tremendous in the first 2 matches. Talk a little bit about, this is a team that lost 4 tremendous seniors off of last year's team in Breon Page, Megan Plord, Izzy Gallia, and Dana Cranston. What is going to make this team special this season in 2013?
This team is really special. We got returners, from the middles and the outside, but what we didn't have last year was Michelle Lawrence. She's the first year from California who in her college debut at CSU got 13 kills, on her 16 attempts, and, she stands at 6 foot tall, 2 foot. She's really a force to be reckoned with. But our veterans from last year, we got Colbert, who's on the outside, who's hitting over 4% every single game. She's also, right now, one of our strongest hitters. She's on the back row. Single-handedly, she's taken, a total of more back row attacks than we ever did last year and the year before that. So I think this year, we're strong in the middle, we're strong on the outside, we're now strong in the back row. So I think that, good things are to come from CSU.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Haleigh. We look forward to a great season out of the Rams.
And after the break, we'll show you some bone-crushing plays in our new segment, Hit of the Week. Stay tuned.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Shelters are the best places to find a new pet.
What a perfectly beautiful little lady.
That's where you'll discover healthy, loyal, and loving animals.
Cute little rascal.
Eager to become a part of your family. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet.
Oh, ladies first.
Be that person. Adopt.
This is living. Hey, kid.
To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to CTV. Now it's time for our newest segment called Hit of the Week.
It's pretty self-explanatory, Keith. We're going to show you the biggest hits from this week in CSU sports, and since it's football season, our 2 clips this week are from the Rocky Mountain Showdown.
Excellent. This first one here is brought to you by the CSU secondary. Kevin Pierre-Louis lays a wicked hit there on the CU defender. Oh, look at that. Does the flip in midair and just, lands right on his head. Good thing he wasn't injured, and I can't believe he got up right after that. One heck of a hit.
Yeah, a lot of physical plays in this football game. Our second video was CU's response to the first one. As we roll the clip, quarterback Garrett Grayson dropped back to pass, fired the pass over the middle. Tight end Kevon Cartwright getting upended by the CU defender as we take another look. Just doing a mid-air cartwheel, but give Cartwright credit. He got right up after taking that hit, not wanting to show CU that he was injured or anything on that play. Great toughness by the Rams. You know, just a few plays here and there. Maybe we could have had a different outcome, Keith.
Yeah, it would have been great to get a different outcome, especially against our rivals, CU. We got a couple more rivals in the schedule. Border war with Wyoming, and then we got Air Force coming up. But next week we play at Tulsa, and I'm looking forward to that one.
It should be exciting to see how this team moves on from this loss against a rival, going on the road where in recent years the Rams have struggled. So we'll see what McElwain has in store for this Rams team this year. Hopefully they can play some better ball on the road and get them back out at Hughes Stadium where we could have the local fan support behind them.
Yeah, especially with 3 consecutive wins dating back to last year at Hughes Stadium. It'd be really great, get off on the right foot at home. But I'm not too worried about our team, Georgia, one of the top teams in the country, they preseason number 8, and they have the same record as we do, 0-1. So, you know what, Clemson, CU, it's all lost in the book. I'll take it either way.
It was a learning experience in the Rocky Mountain Showdown for the Rams. Everyone was kind of curious what the decision was going to be at quarterback. We didn't get it announced to us until right before the game that was going to be Garrett Grayson. So this team has a lot of experience to learn going on in this season, and it looks like they're going to stick with Grayson moving forward. So it'll be interesting to see how the team improves on the offensive side of things now that they know who the starting quarterback is going to be moving into these next games farther on down the season.
Yep, and I'm sure looking forward to it. Well, that's all the time we have for you tonight.
If you still haven't gotten enough of your CTV sports action, check out our website at CTV11news.com or follow us on Twitter at Collegian Central.
We'll see you next week.
They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/therightseat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.